happening, guys? Chris VA Travels, still here in downtown Fredericksburg, and just gonna make a quick video. Just gonna take a walk around and look at the Fredericksburg area War Memorial Park. To tell you, we're at the intersection of George, Barton, and Liberty Streets. Behind the Maury School, the old Maury High School, you'll see the football lights over there. But yeah, this thing was dedicated in 1926. This flagpole, there's a POW flag up there. And that black plaque at the bottom, that's original to 1926. And they used to have a captured German cannon out front here, but it was scrapped for the war effort, World War II, made to make bullets that were to be fired back at the Germans. And so nothing sat here until 1962, when the American Legion Post was able to place this U.S. Navy twin 40mm anti-aircraft gun here. Yeah, so here we go. Anti-aircraft gun. Walk around, get a close look at it. And there used to be a seat right here, I guess, and somebody would crank that thing. I guess you had somebody on each side. But let me go over real quick, see what this plaque has to say. And all these homes, it looks like this home, that sign right there says 1927. And that one also has a little plaque on it. But oh, here we are, Matthew Fontaine Maury, a namesake, of course, of Maury School. And he was known as the, oh, there it is right here, built in 1919. Okay, all right. He was known as the Pathfinder of the Seas, and he charted out the first accurate maps of just ocean currents. The Maury School, built in 1919 as the Fredericksburg High School. Additions, 1929 and 1936. And photo shows the original school without additions. Side door on the right of the photo is the door visible to you. Okay, so that's the front. I always thought it was the back. I took a look at this recently, and it's called the Thomas Jefferson Statue of Religious Freedom. Yeah, so it was placed here originally in 1932. Okay, I had read that it was placed off Barton Street, so okay, it was here. 1977, it was moved over to Washington Avenue. All right, let me read this old plaque. These granite columns were added in 2008. I'll also tell you that in 1919, Fredericksburg honored the 17 doughboys who didn't make it home, who died in World War I. All right, let me see this cool eagle right there, Federal Eagle, I always mention. Looking to his right, Fredericksburg Roll of Honor, 1917, World War, 1918. Grateful tribute to all who returned. Tearful triumph for those who sleep. Okay. All right, the Knox family. That's a name that kind of goes back. Fredericksburg Cox. Okay. All right, let me go up and take a closer look. The slabs list the names of more than 400 soldiers from Caroline, King George, Orange, Spotsylvania, Stafford, and Fredericksburg who died in World War I and World War II. Oh, also the Korean conflict, Vietnam, the global war on terror. So yeah, all the 20th and 21st century wars. Starting off with World War I. Brooks family, Carter, Curtis, three Curtises. All right, wow, there's a couple. These next two columns are World War II. Wow. A couple Hendersons, a couple Mitchells. Vietnam, armed conflict in Southeast Asia. Global war on terror. Yeah, I've got some Weavers in my family, but... Oh, and they left these blank for future conflicts. All right, well, pretty nice. Just kind of war memorial. Let me go over and look at this last plaque. Yeah, so we're not too far off from William Street, just over there. A lot of good places to eat for anybody visiting from out of town. You go up a little ways, you take a left on Charles Street. You can visit the James Monroe Museum. Barton town, named after Seth Barton, 1755 until 1813. Fought in the American Revolution, grew wealthy as a shipping merchant, and speculated in real estate. He laid out the subdivision that came to be called Liberty Town in 1812, and he's buried over at St. George's Church. To tell you about Henry Dean, he was born a slave in Powhatan County, arrived here in Fredericksburg in 1868 as a free man. He worked for several local businesses, also managed his own livery and speculated in real estate. After the Civil War, this became an African-American community, and this is a house just off Barton Street, which is in front of us. The brick building in the background's still there. Yeah, I see the brick building. Unfortunately, I can't zoom in. Brick building's right there. And so that African-American house would have been just to the left. And there's an art studio there now, I believe. Okay, they're redoing that little, that tiny house. Okay, so yeah, let me take a closer look at the Maury School. Just since this is kind of a shorter video. Colonial style architecture, again built 1919, and it was used as both high school and elementary school until 1952 when James Monroe High School was built. After that, it was just used as an elementary and middle school. It ended up closing down in 1980, and it was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 2007. Looks like there's a plaque on the side. Maybe I'll just go up and read that. And I see another plaque over here, so let me see what this has to say. All right, so... Oh, so this is Civil War. All right, so the monument is dedicated to honor the memory of the 51 Confederate soldiers buried here in the Barton Street Cemetery. They died in Fredericksburg between the months of October of 61. Oh, so early in the war, until 62. And like I say, these mostly died of disease, it said on the other plaque, from earlier in the war. Oh, only a handful from Virginia. So there you go. And underneath is cedar. Okay, yeah, let me walk over and see what that plaque on the other end says. I don't want to get too carried away. I could go on for a while because over there is the swale, the famous swale from the Battle of Fredericksburg, and there are a couple plaques, but I'll save that for another time. Yeah, you can see how things kind of dip down, and then more houses over there on the other side. And this thing obviously has been redone. This is newer brickwork. Oh yeah, so another plaque, it says the Barton Street Potter's Field. Oh, and this also houses the Central Rappahannock Heritage Center. Yeah, so anybody doing research, I came in here one time a while back. They accept donations, but yeah, a lot of old city records. All right, this marker commemorates the indigent and unknown once interred on this site, provided by the city in 1816 and once called the Colored Cemetery. It was the final resting place for former slaves and free blacks. Long barren and unused, in 1920 the site became the location of the city's new high school after the recovered remains were reinterred in other cemeteries. I know some of the black graves were taking over to the Shiloh Church. Okay, just walk around. Again, William Street right up there. the Confederate Cemetery, and then the Washington Avenue I mentioned, and it's where they put that new statue of religious freedom a little further down. Oh wow, okay, so yeah, pretty big building. Like I said, I don't want to get too carried away, but that's it for the Fredericksburg War Memorial Park. Learned a little bit about Liberty Town and the old Maury High School. So yeah, getting out of here, as always, like and subscribe. See you guys on the next one.